I'd like to call our Board of Legislators meeting for October 25th to order and ask if Gary Barnes would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could remain standing, and if Legislator Carl Graves would give the invocation today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you are the creator and sustainer of all that is or ever will be. Please accept our thanks for this day and all of its blessings. We ask that you guide and direct our meeting today, that everything we do or say is truly wrought in you. We ask for your tender mercies for all those affected by the pandemic, and that your loving light shine on all the caregivers who are on the front lines of the battle to protect all of us. We ask for your tender mercies for our first responders, for those in military service, and all those who serve in public safety, the profession of public safety across this great land. We also ask for your tender mercies on all those troubled in mind or body. We pray that we will be ever mindful of opportunities to render service to our fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, liberty, happiness, and justice. Please let us continue to strive to make a better world upon which future generations can build and prosper with confidence and success. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Legislator Barnes, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Legislator Graves for the invocation. Roll call.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mrs. Burdick. Here. Mr. Crandall.
Here.
Mr. Curran.
Here.
Mr. Decker.
Here.
Mr. Dibble.
Here.
Mr. Fanton. Mr. Graves.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Havey.
Here.
Mr. Healy.
Here.
Mrs. Hopkins.
Here.
Mr. Ricky.
Here.
Mrs. Root. Mr. Stockin.
Here.
13 present, 2 absent. You are provided a copy of the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes of October 12th. At this time, we need a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion is made by Legislator Havey and seconded by Legislator Dibble. Discussion? All in favor of their approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, and the minutes are approved.
You are also provided a copy of the board meeting minutes of October 12th, and we need a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion is made by Legislator Dibble, seconded by Legislator Harris. Discussion? All in favor of their approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried, and those minutes are approved. At this time, I would suspend our regular board meeting, and I would like to open public hearing for local law intro number 3 of 2021. This is a local law to provide increases in the compensation of certain county officers. And any of the public that's here to speak to this, to address the legislature, if they could step to the podium and mic in the back of the chamber here, introduce themselves, give us a name and what town you're from, we would gladly hear you at this time. This is for public hearing for local law intro number 3, 2021. I am seeing no one respond to the call to come forward, and I would declare that public hearing closed. And at this time, I would like to open a public hearing. This is a proposed grant application developed in partnership with Cattaraugus Community Action and directed to the New York State Community Development Block Grant Program. This is seeking $500,000 to replace within Allegheny County 5 dilapidated owner-occupied manufactured homes. If there's anyone that is here to address the legislature, if they could step to the microphone podium in the back of the chamber and give us your name and town that you're from, we'll open the floor for that at this time. And I believe that that microphone should be on. There's a red light there.
It's on.
Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Casey Jones. I live at 5 Norton Street in Village of Belmont. And I've been here, I think this is the 3rd or 4th time that I've been here on this same general subject. The whole situation involving spending $100,000 per unit in order to basically swap out dilapidated mobile homes, I don't believe is an efficient use of monies. For $100,000, you can do repairs on a whole lot of houses in the county, and you can do them in certain segments of the county in order to show real community development, not just what I call spot grants or spot housing, and more people would be served by it. Now, I know the argument being that if we don't apply for what's there, it goes to somebody else. But the fact of the matter is that I found over the years is that if you have a real plan, a housing plan, and it was set, and it was described in the, and I brought this up before, in the comprehensive plan, to have a housing plan for how to improve housing throughout the county, that funding agencies, if you have a real plan, funding agencies come to you, or you can find funding for specific needs, rather than just taking what is coming through the door. This is a great, great opportunity for Community Action Program to basically increase their payroll or maintain payroll, but I would suggest that it could be used in similar dollars, if it was applied, could be used for a much greater impact that's going to be seen within the neighborhoods of the county, and that it actually should be expanded. It should be beyond what's spent. Right now, I haven't kept track of it, but I assume that it's been several $1 million now in the last 4 or 5 years that we've plunked into $100,000 apiece. And so it's interesting because at least a while ago, it's not that today, but the average price of a home, used home, was something around $80,000 or under. And so as a result of that, we were actually building and providing housing that was in excess of what people were actually purchasing homes for. So the whole system, I would suggest, is not set up in order to be effective, to actually have the greatest impact in the county, and that there needs to be a redirection and refocus in regard to what is done. And I would suggest that the first item is that there needs to be a housing plan that takes all these things into consideration, and that we actually be looking for funds that are going to have the greatest impact and going to have the greatest benefit to the most people in Allegheny County. And so five houses out of what we have, about 20,000 in the county, isn't even a smidge. It's important to the people who get them. I mean, if I could get a free house, that would be great. But that isn't serving the general population of the county. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that is here to address the board for this proposed grant application? And Mr. Jones, not to debate it with you because you'd chew me up. I know you know this stuff very well. But for those that may be watching or listening at home, and I did not read the full proposal, but this addresses septic and well issues with these homes as well, so it's not just swapping out a manufactured home for another. And again, for the people that may be listening, this is the grant that's coming through the door right now, so we can't say we want to spend it on this, although I do agree that there are other opportunities that we could pursue. So thank you for addressing the board. Seeing no one else stepping forward to address us at this public hearing, I would declare that public hearing closed and would resume our regular board meeting at this time. Once again, we are able to continue with our privilege of the floor that for all of last year and part of this, we certainly missed the opportunity to have different groups and different folks come in and highlight what they're doing and have special proclamations and that. But this month, we are joined by the three chambers in Allegheny County, Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce, Greater Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Gretchen Hanchett, Wellsville Area Chamber Executive Director Bruce Thomas, and Cuba Chamber President Kevin White, along with Rod Beeler. I'd like to have each of those folks come up and join me for a few minutes if they would. We're going to talk about our Chamber of Commerce's here in Allegheny County. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Gretchen, Rod,
Pleasure.
Bruce, Kevin. We can spread out up here. And we know that the importance of having chambers and the impact that they have on not only small business but large business here in Allegheny County. In the commerce that we do have. I find it interesting, and there's other groups and organizations that aren't so-called chambers, that are business groups and other organizations that help locally as well, betterment associations and so forth. But we're a very rural county, and whenever I've had the opportunity to talk with others about the lay of the land here, if you will, it's difficult to have one central anything, and we see that with our chambers. We have, the Cuba area, the Wellsville area, and then the greater Allegheny County area. But we have folks that gravitate to other neighboring counties. To the north, people will go to the north. People go to Hornell. People go to Olean. It's important to have these organizations that help promote us, Allegheny County, and help our businesses, small and large. So I think there's a few folks that want to say things, or at least one on behalf of everyone. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman, and members of the board. As he mentioned, I'm Rod Beeler. I'm the Vice President of the Greater Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce. I come before you today to ask you to reconsider the proposal on moving the chamber back to the Department of Economic Development. A couple of reasons why. We created almost $74 million in money over the past several years. I was a founding member of the chamber, so I've been here since day one. And that was spent by tourism. People coming in, buying homes, spending money, food, entertainment, anything like that. It has been a vital part of the tourism for the county. And to see that go away, it could be the demise of the Greater Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce. Gretchen and Steve Havey have done, it's just unbelievable, an outstanding job. I mean, I've worked with them to a certain degree, but the time, the effort that they have put forth in this has just been unbelievable. And I think basically it's just hard to find a couple of people who want to be so dedicated and do such a good job that in this day and age you can't find people who even work, let alone want to be dedicated to what is out there. And there's been a 36% increase in tourism spending. which you got to take into consideration the last year and a half, things have not been good, but they will get better again. And I just, again, would like to ask you, not begging you, asking you to consider what's on the table, what we can lose if the chamber goes away. So otherwise than that, I would like to thank both the Wellsville and Cuba Chamber for being here, not only because it's Chamber Month and for your support from the board as Chamber Month, but the hands-on hands that we have done down through the years with the Chamber. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time and effort. Thanks.
You know, I've only been I grew up in Allegheny County, and I've only been back in this area for about 10 or 11 years. I was kind of traveling all over, and one of the things that drew me back home, if you will, was the incredible communities that we all live in. I know the Cuba Chamber, the Wellsville Chamber, the Greater Allegheny Chamber. You know, our successes and wins and losses are all based on the communities around us, and obviously that starts with a great deal of impact from all of you. I appreciate all the support that we get. I appreciate how well all the chambers work together. In regards to the Greater Allegheny Chamber, unfortunately, being from Cuba, my focus is, as much as it can be, obviously in driving business to Cuba, and I'm assuming Wellsville has the same approach. The fear of what could potentially happen with what's going to transpire here with the Greater Allegheny Chamber is the rest of the county. What's going to happen with the rest of the county? So I would ask as well if you would reconsider that. We certainly look forward to your guidance. We certainly appreciate your guidance. We certainly appreciate your support on everything that we do. And I definitely appreciate you taking time today to recognize what the chambers do in our different communities. So thank you.
I just want to echo pretty much what Kevin has just stated, except I also want to add that what Rod mentioned too, I think is so important. When I have jumped in, I'm sure many of you know Al Moser, who's been very sickly, and our thoughts and prayers are with him all the time now. But I was mostly asked to do this quickly on an interim basis because of the fact that he was taking a little leave. And of course, he's still fighting it. So they asked if I'd stay on, and I told them, I'm retired. I got to take this easy. And they said, well, come on. I said, you know, because I love Wellsville. I love the area. I've lived in Belmont. I've got tons of friends in Cuba. And it's one of those things I taught in Belmont many, many years ago. You remember that? She was one of my students. And it shows you how old I am. And anyway, she's young though. And but seriously, the big thing I'd like to just mention is the fact that I told them, my board, when we first got together, that I said, look, this past year, like Rod said, has been so tough, and everybody struggled, but we have to go forward and continue to go forward, expecting to do everything that we've ever done, all the different events, all the different fundraising, everything that we've been able to partake in. And so there again, I also echo the thoughts of what was said by Rod, that we do need all of your support. And I know that it's just a great little area, great county, and I'm very proud of Wellsville and the surrounding areas for that matter. But I thank you very much.
Thank you. And I had, when we scheduled this, and it was actually a couple of weeks ago we were going to do this, and I have a proclamation here, and didn't expect that I was going to get thrown a curveball or a fastball on the proposed movement of the tourism contract. But as long as you brought it up and I have the floor, I'd like to address that for a minute. This Chamber of Commerce month, and I'll read this proclamation in a minute, is directed at each of our chambers that I spoke of at the beginning. One no less important than the other, in my opinion, and I believe the opinion of this board. These are important organizations that, again, help with our businesses, small and large. For a number of years, and I remember well, too, organizing and putting together the first contract that this board or Allegheny County had with the Greater Allegheny Chamber of Commerce to administer our tourism business. And we get monies each year from the state to spend on tourism. There's specific things and ways that that can be spent. And it was decided at that time to have that taken care of with a contract with the Greater Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce. It's the intent of this board to, as we move forward with other development, and I say development issues because I think that tourism is a key component in development in Allegheny County, to better and improve and pick up the ball where it is now. And gratitude does go out to the Greater Allegheny Chamber of Commerce, Gretchen, who is executive director, and one of our legislators, Steve Havey, that's works for that organization as well. We tip our hat to you. You've done a good job. That doesn't mean that we're in position to continue on and carry on business as usual. It's the intent of this board to make improvements where we can, and we have a majority of the board that feels that this will be an improvement for Allegheny County. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. This has nothing to do with the demise of the Greater Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce. We hope that that continues on, but I'm not sure that that tourism contract should be the only business of the county chamber as well. So we'll move forward with it, and we certainly want to see all three chambers prosper and do what they do best. But it will be without the tourism component for that part of it. I would have rewritten this a little bit different, but this is a good proclamation, and I think that it hits the nail on the head in our appreciation for the chambers. And I would certainly welcome conversation with any of our chamber and chamber members as it relates to what was brought up here today with the tourism contract. This is Chamber of Commerce month, and I was going to pull a wise guy remark and say that we're going to have a contract with the Cuba Chamber of Commerce, or maybe the Wellsville Chamber of Commerce, of which maybe they would like to take a look at that as well. But anyways, whereas the Greater Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce, Cuba Chamber of Commerce, and Wellsville Area Chamber of Commerce serve the towns and villages throughout Allegheny County, and whereas these chambers provide a wide variety of services to their members and communities, including advocacy, education, and community development. And whereas the Greater Allegheny County Chamber promotes tourism, and all chambers promote community events while working to solve economic challenges and encourage entrepreneurship and small business growth. And whereas our chambers of commerce are critical community partners and problem solvers with the unique ability to work with stakeholders from both the private and public sector. And whereas our local businesses face unprecedented challenges stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic, and our chambers of commerce and the essential work they do for our communities and county have never been more important. And whereas this month the Allegheny County Board of Legislators commends our Chamber of Commerce that work hard to make Allegheny County a better place to live, work, and play. Now therefore, I, Curtis W. Crandall, Chairman of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as Chamber of Commerce Month in Allegheny County. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the time.
On your desk is a copy of the November calendar. Are there going to be any changes? Please note that our public hearing on the 2022 tentative budget has been scheduled for 7 p.m. on Wednesday, November 10th. Are there any additional changes? Also on your desk is a copy of the 2022 tentative budget. This will be posted on our website, emailed out, and additional paper copies will be available in my office later this week. We received an invitation from Cornell Cooperative Extension to attend their annual meeting. It's going to be on Wednesday, November 10th at the Belmont Legion from 6 to 8 p.m. Board members should let me know whether or not you plan to attend. Chairman Crandall read the proclamation declaring October 2021 as Chamber of Commerce Month.
We have introduction of legislation, and on our agenda it says Legislator Deb Root, who is not here. She chairs our Planning and Economic Development Committee, and in her stead is Vice Chairman of that committee, Legislator Gary Barnes, to introduce this legislation. Legislator Barnes.
Push the button. By golly, I did it. I'd like to introduce local law, intro number 4, print number 1, a local law to amend the local law number 2 of 1985 as amended in relation to adding the position of Deputy Director of Development and reinstating the Development Advisory Board.
Thank you very much. Resolutions?
Resolution?
Yes. There's a proposal to suspend our board meeting and have a caucus, and I think we'll leave it up to the majority of the membership. Those that would like to suspend this meeting and have a caucus, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye.
Point of order. It sounds like this is not for the purpose of discussing party business, it's for the purpose of discussing county business. Therefore, it would be illegal to have a caucus for that purpose.
Well, I'm not sure what the purpose of it is, to be honest with you. I think we should have a roll call of those that would vote to suspend our regular board meeting for a party caucus.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Harris?
requesting a point of clarification, maybe from the clerk, in terms of rules of this process.
I believe that you can call for a caucus during the meeting. Is that your question?
Yes, and if it's called for, it requires a majority vote of the members of the caucus to proceed.
I will have to ask our county attorney. I did not believe so, but
Do you wish to offer any guidance as county attorney?
Again, I don't know what the purpose of the caucus would be. If you want to have a short attorney-client to discuss it, I can advise you there, and then you can come back out.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a motion to pause the meeting for the purpose of an attorney-client session?
I think that would be more appropriate. And I can say that in the 21 years or so I've been here, we've never had well, I take that back. We did have one that I recall a number of years ago, caucus, but a motion to enter into attorney-client session for the board is made by Legislator Harris. Is there a second to that? Seconded by Legislator Curran. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried. We will have a hopefully brief attorney-client session. We will suspend our regular board meeting. No action will be taken in this attorney-client session, but it will be discussion with our county attorney, and then we will come back into open session in just a few minutes. Thank you.